How do you show up for a podcast interview? My guess is that it's a lot like how you show up for life. Recently, I read a book by Mitchell Levy called Credibility Nation. It's a great book. He talks about for professionals that want to be seen as credible. And who doesn't? That's why you go on podcast interviews. But the way you show up at an interview or the way you show up at any event can kill your credibility. Now, let me explain this to you. And I was shocked when I saw Mitchell's data on this. Mitchell's a longtime podcaster, keeps notes on everything, and he's got a show that actually starts live. So you're being invited and have agreed to go on a live show. Imagine showing up late for that. And you know what? His data showed that 23% of the people showed up late. Now, how does he define late? Same way you should define late. You see, there's three ways that you can show up. You can show up early, on time, or rude. Early. Imagine being a guest at a dinner party. You don't want to show up for a 5:30 dinner party, stopping at 4:00, and getting there an hour and a half early. There's such a thing as being there too early. Now, if you get in the area, you may text them or text the host and say, hey, I'm looking forward to our interview. Looking forward to our time together. Takes a little bit of stress off them. On time? Well, in the Navy, they said that early was on time and on time was late. I think you should be there at a podcast interview anywhere from 7 to 3 minutes early, because I'll explain this to you. And I'd ask podcast hosts to chime in on this also. As the host is getting things together, they've got worries. Is this person going to show up? Are they going to have equipment difficulties? You'll put their heart at ease if you just show up. Maybe it's in the Zoom room and they can see that you're in the waiting room there. Or you're texting them and you say, hey, I am ready and standing by, excited for this. It takes that tension down. So we've got early, we've got on time, and then there's just plain rude. To show up late for an event that you agreed to, that they're waiting for you, is rude. Now, I know a lot of people in this culture, they don't even know that, right? A lot of people think, well, that's the hustle nature. I'm so busy. I'm double booked on all my calls. I'm running from one thing to another. But put yourself in this position. And I think we've all been there. You're in a doctor's office. You have the 10 o'clock appointment. You get there early. You're in the room five minutes before 10, and then you sit there and you wait and you wait and you wait. Half hour goes by and they finally walk in and they say, I'm sorry, I'm late. But your attitude has changed. You're not that same person that if they walked in the door at 10 o'clock. And think about that from a podcast host. If they're waiting for you, if they're stressing out, are they going to have the same conversation with you if you would have shown up early or on time? No, it's part about being a professional, and you want to honor your commitments. And this is something that I have to remind myself. And in this busy world, and we're all busy and pride ourselves beyond busy, and I'm only a little bit late. No, you're telling the person something. You're saying that I didn't value it enough to be here. Worse yet is showing up unprepared. And in here, I believe it was 11% of the interviews rescheduled because when he started asking them questions, they had no idea why they were there. Maybe someone else had booked them on the podcast. Maybe they booked it, but it was a month ago and they hadn't checked it since. Man, that's just downright rude. Imagine going to somebody's house and they invited you over for a formal dinner. And yeah, you were in the neighborhood, you're there a few minutes late, and you show up in shorts and flip-flops. Oh, I thought it was a barbecue. That's just rude. So on this, if you want to be seen as credible, and I highly suggest this book. Mitchell's also got a great community that helps along with this, Credibility Nation. You want to be seen as a credible person, not a dubious person. It's going to be so important in your life, how people see you, how your business grows. That highly, highly recommend this book. But think about that when you're showing up. Are you showing up early, on time, or rude? Not only in podcast interviews, but on life. Love to know your thoughts on this, and especially podcast hosts. How do you judge the guests when they show up early, on time, or rude? it makes a difference, and it's all within the guest control.